All right, guys, I'm going to drop into the chat the pages. I believe this is now page 190 to 201. So in your chat box, you'll see the PDF boxes for, nope, that's the import sheet. Those are comparables. Hang on. Calabasas team meeting. Oh God, guys, here we are. So you should be able to see the student full guide on PDF. If you haven't saved it to your computer already, off we go. And as we continue building on lead follow-up, we're going to go right into strengthening relationships. And you're going to hear me be like a broken record because you're going to hear this across the board. People who've been in the business with longevity, people who are doing incredibly well in real estate over a number of years, not just for a short period of time, are doing it through relationship building, right? You hear farmers and agents from the 70s and 80s and 90s and early 2000s who still have business today. It's predicated upon building some very strong bonds with past clients. And yeah, please do, definitely. Here we go. Thank you so much for joining us. It's definitely built upon having solid relationships over a number of years, as opposed to just one-time business, right? And not just with past clients. This is also going to be with people that that never do business with us. Right. And then the basis of the relationship is just being a resource and consultant, like my mom. Perfect example. Her years of buying and selling real estate, by the time I got into real estate, was long behind her. Right. Her purpose in life wasn't to buy more real estate, flip houses, or hold on to more property and more liability. Her goal was to just be cool, let her money do her thing in her 401k. She redistributed the property. She kind of went through the heydays. Awesome. But my mom, who may never buy a house for me or sell a house with me, may just refer me a ton of clients, which she's done. From 2014 till now, I would venture to say that a good chunk, maybe half, not half, but maybe 25 to 40% of our clients originated from a relationship with her, right? So these are her coworkers. And then if you think about it, my mom is, at the time, was in her mid 50s, late 50s, right? Or yeah, late 50s. And all of her friends are like her. They're aging out of their work, getting ready for retirement. Some of them own the 2-story homes, and these are a little shaky. I'm wearing a copper fit right now. All that stuff. They need to downsize, they need to move. Their kids are truly out. I mean, they're self-sufficient, doing their thing, just like her. Oh, hey, I need to sell, talk to my son Philip, right? Coworkers who are kicking butt as nurses, they're ready to move up. They need to sell the townhome they bought in 2009 and buy this cool mansion type house in Santa Clarita because they kind of arrived at that point in their life. Sell the condo and maybe help them rent it out and then buy the next place. Or she catches the nurses on the tail end. But she's in what I believe is an awesome place, being a case manager with influence around a large number of people. And we all have people like that in our lives, right? So key strengthening relationships doesn't always have to be about them exchanging business with us, their direct sale or purchase. This could be working with key influencers in our world who have access or stronger relationships, outstanding relationships with people in their sphere, right? So you're going to see a lot of that as we dive in. If you're here in the room or on Zoom, just raise your hand or chime in if you have any aha moments, or if you guys have any deeper questions or perspective on that, and we'll get right into it. Lead follow-up. So if you notice, we started with being the real estate expert. And you can take all these handouts here and even go online. All the slides are on there. I think everything you need. We recycle through this I think our cycle is a month and a half, 2 months. Okay. And we cycle right through Ignite again. We go into lead generation. Now we're in lead follow-up. We're going to establish a mindset of strengthening relationships, identifying goals, some of the metrics there to hit those milestones. And we're going to devise a systematic plan to make sure that we're doing that outreach and not getting lost in the weeds, right? And believe me, I'm someone who can get totally lost in the idea of, oh God, I got to try something new, and then forget that, oh, hey, we gotta let these people know we're still around to some degree, social media or whatever, long-term emails. Know that growth comes from clarity, priorities, and focused action. This is Gary Keller right out of the Shift book. And again, I'm going to remind everyone that this version of Ignite, there's been multiple versions. right? This version of Ignite, probably the best one I've seen, and this is before the market really shifted, was that they based everything here, oh, it's okay, excuse me, on Shift, like the actual Shift book. And that book was written during our last economic recession, or right in the midst of that recession, was when it was written there. Okay. So any thoughts on this? Know that growth comes from clarity, priorities, and focused action, whether online or here in the classroom.
That's really good. I know for me, my growth and my lack of action lots of times comes from a lack of clarity and like what do I need to do, how to do it, what's really priority. So it's nice to see it very concise, and it's just always a good reminder. Like if I know what to do, am I confusing it? Like, am I overcomplicating, the situation?
Oh yeah, no, that's perfect. I think of the bold law, clarity is power. Once we're kind of like, you shared a little bit about some of your goals in moving over here and all that fun stuff. I mean, once you get that clarity of like, oh, hey, this is red zone time, time to move. All of a sudden, all the dominoes line up, right? The fact it kind of gets removed, like the stuff that's really just distracting. You don't have to worry about it anymore. Just kind of let it be.
To being in the safe zone.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and the same thing goes with follow up. Then you kind of realize, oh, do I need to chase every cold call lead, or can I nurture relationships here and maybe add in one or two streams of lead generation to kind of build up my real estate business, right? I think the biggest mistake is that it's not doing cold calls, but if you are going to do it, know that building relationships and lead follow up goes hand in hand with any lead generation activity, right? Just don't do cold calls to get lucky to get someone who wants to buy or sell. Like know that, hey, I'm going to meet this guy Philip on the phone, and who knows, he might not be ready to sell or buy, but I'm going to nurture a relationship and send him a thank you card. We're going to add him to our database, and I'm going to treat him and his family. We're going to get to know these people over the lifetime of however long that relationship is, right? And when life happens and real estate plays a role in what they're doing, and I'm going to be the number one or number two person in their head to transact or be referred business to. I'm going to earn that priority. I'm just saying it's a lot easier with people we know, but I'm not taking away from doing it the other way. Leads versus contacts. So you're gonna see this funnel quite often in our business, and this here is where you capture leads right into your database, leads to contacts, right? So leads would be someone that really is like on a timeline to buy, right? A contact may be someone you meet that's not on a timeline to buy or sell. And for sure as day and night, you're always going to have more contacts made and earned than leads, right? When you hear the word lead generation, if you take a step back away from leads, lead generation just means you're finding leads. But in order to find leads, you have to make contacts. You have to make calls, face-to-face hellos, whatever it is, to make contact with someone. You always hear real estate is a contact sport, and it's not like elbowing someone or whatever, right? Maybe you do, you don't want to get high five or something, but it really is like that one-on-one dialogue conversation. Maybe you're doing events or a group that a buyer seminar or a selling seminar, whatever it is, an education-driven event, but the contact is there to strengthen the existing relationship, make a relationship, or in this case, lead capture, but you're going to strengthen that relationship through those calls, those trips, all the things that you're doing. Not to highlight her because she's my wife, but Monica has been really good with getting emails out there, Facebook messengers, a couple calls in, and she's dripping on her database that she's a realtor. Hey, we have this event coming up. Hey, I just got my license. Hey, thank you for reaching. And these are just all kind of out of order, but she's been reaching out bit by bit to let them know, hey, I'm here for you.
Is she a realtor?
Oh yeah, she's right here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
She's actually like the most coachable person I've worked with. I don't know. Boom. Kudos to you. Kidding. But in all seriousness, the contact aspect is where you're going to build the most. And then that's where you get to convert into contact for conversion, right? This is where we're going to be working towards the ones that are genuine, like, hey, this is our lead follow-up base. And we're going to convert them into repeat business, new business, maybe first time they're going to buy a house with us or sell their home with us. or the opportunity for referral that we're gonna put right into our database. Excuse me. So leads, you have the right to have a one-way conversation with. This is maybe a referral, or maybe it's a notice of default or a one-time call that came in and you're converting them on a one-way conversation. Now, sometimes the lead, they may not be ready. Like I might get a lead from my mom or someone from Facebook, or a paid ad lead that comes in, or a sign call, and I'm calling them direct. I only call you direct because you answered an ad. And hey, man, please speak with Nicholas. However it goes, I'm inquiring with you about your inquiry with us. And it's a one-way dialogue about how can we help meet your need or whatever you're looking for. And then contact, you have engaged in a two-way conversation, a value-based relationship has been established. And now with contact, now we're establishing a relationship. Now, hey, maybe on that first call, we did get an appointment because you're just like, I need to sell this house ASAP. You sound good. Let's meet. Right. Awesome. Give me some more preparation, right? And we'll work right through it. Sorry, my wife's alarm went off, and I can touch your phone because we're married, right? Thumbs up. And then we go into a value-based relationship. So with the value-based relationship, could be something as simple as, oh, thank you. I'm getting tea. Oh yeah, no worries. Thanks, I appreciate it. I always thought that was sugar. That's ice cubes, right? Oh, okay, cool. Thank you. And then now we're building a value-based relationship through that messaging, whether it is an email campaign, whether it's a timely call with a market of the moment update. And for all 3, 6, 7 of us here, this is like by far the best time to call anyone and everyone we know. You know, we just came off of maybe a 10-year, let's call it that, not a 10-year. We came off nearly this incredible run, a decade-long run of prices doing this, of equity doing this. And we've now seen a 15% drop, depending on where you live. We've seen the home prices go from 925 down to 800 like that, right? Maybe not all across the board. I mean, you've got to study your market spaces. If we took the best side of Arleta, right, ran to this Northeast Valley, they saw a dramatic change from 925 in the best neighborhoods down to 800 in the same neighborhoods. And I would even argue it's probably lower, right? That's just the list price. Who knows where it will kind of fall out. So this is like, either for the sellers, it's not a scare tactic to get them out. This is the call to build trust. It's like, hey, Philip, Monica, you bought your home with me in 2020, early 2020. You know, yeah, the market is down 20% where you live, but keep in mind, you only owe $550 on the house. So you're rock solid. You know, it was where you purchased that, the amount of down payment you put down on the house, you're good unless economically things change around work. Oh, no, you're right. Everything's good, Nicholas. You know, we're solid, we're good. I'm glad you called because I'm a little concerned because, you know, I don't know what to think. This isn't my line of work. But that call of reassurance, thumbs up. And it's more of an assessment call, right? You call me, I might just say, hey, Monica and I have thought about it, and we don't know if it's a good time because I lost my job. Right. And so then there's like that emotional aspect too, like that gal you met in Winnetka. So you got to build that over time, focus on building relationships and take market share. And this is where you build a relationship. You might not be the number 1 or 2 person off the bat, but we're in a market space where every year in real estate, we lose 20% of our industry, of our agents year over year, right? In a market shift, in a downturn, we lose about 30 to 40% of the agents in our industry because of bad economic turn. Right. So as more people kind of say, oh, this isn't really for me, and they take a pause in the business, and you're still meeting those people and you're adding more people to your database, that market share that you take is really mind share, but you're adding those 50 other people that maybe I was following up with, and now I'm completely off my rocker. You guys are taking them. Right. So that is the key with building the relationship, and all that stuff follows. Now, in the middle of building relationships, we have to be in business. It doesn't hurt. Like once the education piece is there, you have to ask for a referral. If you were updating me on my home, it would be like, hey, Philip, just, you know, I hope that you found the conversation helpful. Like, oh, Nicholas, absolutely. Hey, which of your neighbors or friends may need the same conversation, you know, or may need the same perspective? right? Because we're all about sharing perspective and sharing the best tools and resources to bridge those gaps of understanding. Who else should I be talking to that that needs to hear this or have a conversation about this? Now that's a little bit of NLP. That is a fantastic way of asking for a referral without asking for a referral. Because the moment you ask for a referral, like, that's like they'll call me,
Right.
or you know what, that's why he took
Not about what, someone how.
right.
How you were asking.
Exactly. And then if it's about the information, which it genuinely is, now we're spreading the good word, we're capturing mind share. And every so often happens to us all the time. There's always somebody that's like, oh, you know what? So-and-so's going through a divorce, but don't tell them I said it, right? And then, or whatever the detrimental situation that it is, because in this market, more than anything, you've got to be motivated to sell. Unless you inherited the house from grandpa's estate and it's like, cool, I'm in it for 900 grand, sell it, Philip, for whatever you can get me for it, right? But that's a pretty extreme case. So divorces still happen, deaths still happen, job changes happen, 1031 exchanges still need to take place. So, you're gonna have a target market if you have access to notice of defaults, which I'm noticing more and more. I went through a wave of them today, and like a good chunk of them were already listed, right? So that, hey, the owners are feeling the pinch, and hey, they can still get out. Like if we need to get out of our house, yeah, we're not going to sell for $1 million like we could have last summer or maybe the end of last year. But if we truly needed to get out, we would still be ahead of the game. Even if we sold our house at 8, she and I still walk away with 225, right? Or whatever the net would be at that point after closing costs and all that fun stuff. So it's all a matter of perspective, their motivation at the moment, the pain along with their motivation, and ultimately matching their goals with the market of the moment. And believe it or not, just like in the prior market, selling and buying might not be the answer. The answer might be to stay put. Like Sun Tzu would say, don't invade a walled city. If you must, starve them out. Or if you can, avoid it altogether. and keep marching on. So if you're in that situation, be the fiduciary and tell them, hey, not a good idea. Stop penciling down.
Right.
And my God, you will take so much market share with a conversation by saying no than by saying yes in that moment. Mind share, market share, the whole nine. Start with mindset, and this is our mindset. Today's conversation is tomorrow's transaction. So if you think of this as a long-term game, and again, all of it will come in due time, right? By doing more with the conversations that we are having and the contacts we are making, it's like, yeah, the ones who are ready will self-select. The ones who aren't ready will self-select. Unfortunately, there will always be more that will say no regardless because of life not being keen with selling it at this point. But you don't want to lose that opportunity to be in their head when the time comes to make that move. Now, when you guys are making cold call, there's a cool little tidbit. You might always hear someone say, and this has nothing to do with the slides, you know what, I'm gonna die in this house. So I get calls from realtors all the time, and you guys always bother me, and I'm just gonna die here. I found the best house ever, right? I'm not moving. And my response, or Monica's response to that could be, hey, that's wonderful that you're one of the few that have truly found a home that's really for you and you're not going anywhere. Congratulations. I do notice on here, and this is where you kind of have to read into it. On title, because you're calling off the list, right? I'm gonna take that for granted. It's only in your name. Are you planning on passing this property onto your heirs or to your estate? Well, yeah, absolutely. Are you familiar with the probate process? Most times they'll say no, right? Well, this is what happens. If your property is not in a living trust, which it doesn't appear to be, your property would go through the probate process, and then the state decides who gets your property ultimately at the end. Well, I don't want that. Well, do you have a preferred attorney you can talk to set up a living trust, or are you open to me sending you 2 or 3 people who can help set that up for you? Now you're building this resource type relationship with that person. Yeah, you're right. They may never sell, they're gonna die in the house and pass the home on. But now you can call up Mr. Philip and say, hey, Philip, I came across some new ideas. I was curious. I know you kind of know all the neighbors. Which neighbor would benefit from this information just as you have? right? And then you kind of to continue, again, taking mind share, taking that relationship and building piece by piece. Right? Once you meet your new contacts, you either do business with them, haha, high five, or with them and immediately, or you do not. Either way, once you've met them, you put them in your database and stay in touch with them forever, right? And again, we're in the early parts of Shift where it's all database. This is the systematic portion where you want them in your command database. And again, for anyone who's hearing this for the first time, don't be married to the idea that everything's going to be stuck in command. You know, elephant in the room, if you ever leave KW, it's okay, right? We have an open door policy, but you can take those leads, export them, and put them into your new database, right? I mean, it's not a weird thing where you get shut out and you no longer have access to it. Okay, I mean, I've looked at leaving, at different points before here, and now I'm like, oh, this is the KW we want. But when we were looking at leaving, we looked at exporting. We were so vested and still are vested in command. And yes, there's a feature where you can bring everything out. So feel at peace that you can go in there, update as much as you want. And if you wanted to do one, like where you're thinking, man, what if the policy changes? Every week awesome. Every week do an export of your database, where you copy everything out, put it onto a hard drive, store it to the cloud, whatever, and then do that regular maintenance if that gives you the peace of mind. But just know that you can take your contacts, and I think Alexandra, you had a great point. Like if you weren't doing it every day, maybe do like a collection day twice a week or once a week, where you took all your cell phone contacts and just put all the new ones into the database, whatever works for your schedule, right? I know here we're teaching you to do 10 a day, but if it were better to do 50 in one day, hey, I'm not married to the systems that they have in place. These are just best practices to follow, and stay in touch with them forever. On a final note on the word forever, think of your database as a business that you're going to sell one day, right? Like if you really build these relationships up, like a dentist office, a dentist practice, they don't base the sale of a business practice based on just location, right? Like when a practitioner is selling their book of business as an attorney, a doctor, a dentist, all these traditional things we put on this incredibly high pedestal, they're selling it based on the amount of clients and relationships that they have in that book, right? So I had a friend, it was Paul Lucino, right? He got into insurance sales, and his claim to fame was that he bought the existing insurance books of other people who were failing out of the business. And he converted those books of business into something. The worse the database, the less money he paid. The better the database, the better the relationships, the better return on contact versus business made, he paid more money for it. But the moment he got that, he was guaranteed money, right? Guaranteed clientele on a recurring basis. So think of this as something you may potentially sell to another agent for $50 million, or something, whatever number floats your boat, But the idea is like, hey, these relationships are worth gold, right? And we're going to nurture them and treat them as such. Identifying the goals, lead generation, followed by lead follow with lead conversion. That's the building, and then ultimately transactions. And keep in mind this portion here, transaction, and when we get into that on Friday and through the rest of the program, I hate to say it, but that entire portion outside of maybe negotiating contracts can be delegated, right? You can eventually hire a VA, offset a bunch of things. You can hire an operations director, you can hire a TC per transaction, or a full-time TC, you can hire a listing manager, you can hire a buyer manager, buyer coordinator. All that stuff can eventually be delegated. So think of this not as a third. Think of this first portion here as the 80 to 90% lead generation, lead follow-up, lead conversion. If all you did was that, you can hire someone at 10% a deal, or maybe you get a couple deals under your belt, but once you get that portion down, you can hire someone else to handle the rest. Okay, it's like a doctor. A doctor might pay an operations person, I don't know, 80 grand. Let's say the head of your medical department. I'm not thinking Yashapor's office. You had the lead nurse and you had the lead admin person, a bunch of help.
So you were saying when you were in transaction phase, then you can hire someone, right?
Oh, 100%. I mean, early on, you're probably doing the deal yourself. You're going to learn how to like make sausage and stuff like that. But if it's truly not your wheelhouse, and you're just like, hey, you're dealing with the leads, and you're just like, bro.
I know. But you were looking.
Yeah, absolutely. But think of that now, 50 of those deals happening in a year, and you're pulling your beard out or your hair out, like, oh, this isn't in my wheelhouse. I'm saying that the most money we'll ever make is in generating leads and converting the relationship or nurturing the relationship, right? This here is 90% of the business. And there's a chapter that Paul Morris dedicates to in his book, Wealth Can't Wait. And he's talked about the law firm that he worked in. And he just graduated with a double master's. He's like this super brainiac, and he gets hired by this big law firm, and he's thrown into the dungeons, right? The dungeon. He's working in the bullpen, no window space, just taking calls, answering questions from clients. And at the corner of their floor is this beautiful office. It takes up 2 spaces, and the attorney's never there, right? It turns out he's always at marketing events, he's always at the golf course, he's at all these places. And she was actually bringing in all the multi-million-dollar clients to the firm. And these brainiacs who were like the double masters and everything were just answering their questions, preparing for court, going to battle. And she's out drinking on the golf course, right? But the point is that she was the rainmaker. She dictated the terms of her contract, the terms of her compensation, and everything else got delegated out. And now I'm not saying that to be that extreme early on with your one deal, right? But get a couple to where you're like, cool, I can bring on a part-time person, I can bring on a percentage-based partner and make this work, right? Now, when I say percentage-based, read MREA, and maybe early on that serves you, but later on you get stuck. They call it cul-de-sac talent. Right, you don't want to give it all away, because if you give away too much of a percentage, you could be making $2 million a year, giving away 20%. I'm telling you now, $400,000, that's a ton of money to pay someone for transaction, right? You could probably hire an entire organization on $400,000 a year and 10x your business. You can get more leads to work with and all that fun stuff. So save that for food for thought. But I just want to stress that just this portion alone, you're killing the game, right? Don't get lost in the contract. The contract, you can partner on a couple deals, slam dunk them, and learn the process as we go along, and eventually hire it out. Let me move our picture here. Identify the goals, convert contacts to close business. Stay on top of mind. So here's the real estate mindshare positioning. Are on the buyer side, or let me start with the seller side. One agent, 74%. So if you're the number one person in their mind, you have 3/4 of the mind share off the bat. Second agent, 15% of people have a second agent in mind. Maybe they have 3 because they're certain will have a ton, or they were in real estate, they know a lot of realtors. Buyers, similar numbers, off by 1%, right? Like they know one agent, and that's kind of it. So if you're, posting on social media, top of mind with your SOI, don't get caught up in meeting a lot of strangers. I know someone's like, oh, I got 25,000 followers, and I'm this influencer. I'm like, dude, that's awesome. How many of them are like reaching out to you on a one-on-one basis, right? Whatever the number is. We do heavily within our SOI, or not exactly our personal life, but about kids to a degree, and real estate stuff, right? And we at like clockwork, we always get anywhere between 5 to 10 a month. Just, hey, what are your thoughts on, and that is, should I buy, should I sell, should I invest? Exactly. Stay top of mind, leverage mindshare for referral business. We kind of hit on that a little bit already. Never ask for the referral, always ask who else can benefit from this information or from this conversation that we just had. So let's go right into the plan. So you guys heard me last week. So this is definitely something to strive for. And, Monica and I never really did it until recently, right? Now we're doing this because, we hired help. When I was a solo agent, at best, I did the 4 quarterly calls, and that was a stretch, right? Maybe I got through 1 or 2 calls, but I did a lot of social media. I didn't like the content that we were delivering through eEdge. At the time, it wasn't Command, granted, it was eEdge. And I didn't like the whole, oh, hey, here's 15 ways to garden your front lawn. Here's 10 different banana bread ideas. Like, this is pretty like crummy stuff, right? So I did really good at just calling, texting, maybe putting on drip campaign with market update. Now with Commando, even before we hired Josh, our VA, I was doing the monthly neighborhood nurture. So every month they got that monthly update about their neighborhood. And we're barely now getting into 19 to convert or sorry, 19 to connect and 36 to convert. But that, again, I'm just saying this because if you don't do this, you're still ahead of the game. You're still winning. Okay. Because it's better to take action than no action, right? Like I don't know the personality, but I've got a few that'll wait till everything's perfect, and then now we're in a different market. You did something so beautiful for sellers.
Perfection thing is not gonna work.
Yeah, absolutely. You're gonna learn and change it along the way. And truth be told, like look at this 4 types of promotional direct email, mail, such as a magnet calendar market report. Let's be real. Like we come into real estate, we're not coming in with a $50,000 budget for marketing. Right? I've got like $500. I'm going to invest in some postage stamps, some thank you notes at Walmart, and I'm going to handwrite a couple things. Thank you for taking my call. Here's a scratch ticket, something along those lines. Okay, cool. I can get my mind around, but we're not going to like invest $3,000 into 300 promotional calendars and get that out there to the people we know. Yeah, not or even a farm that doesn't really know us. And so we're going to craft the message using the 6 questions. We're going to jump into that. I think that's on page, or Monica, you're on it. What page is that? 12.5. And then we're going to include a MOFR make offer for immediate response question. Oh, let me actually get the questionnaire out. 12.6. Okay. 12.6. 12.6. Nope, 12.5. Yeah. So the 6 connection questions are: who are they? What do they need? What do they want or need to do? Where do they want or need to do it? Why do they want or need to do it? When do they want or need to do it? How do they plan to do it?
So who, what, where, why, when.
Yeah, basic, super basic stuff, right? Like this is literally connection 101. Yeah. Your expression says it all. So, like, yeah, that's how I feel. Now, make offer for immediate response could be something as simple as, hey, if you're a buyer and we were able to match the market or the price of the home with your interest rate and make the payment affordable or make it make sense for you, is that something you would move in on right away? Yeah, if you can match that with what I'm looking for, let's do it. And I'll typically do a reverse engineer. I might increase the search criteria if you're on MLS to maybe 100,000. Yeah, and now it's $100,000 more than what they're qualified for, and then send them the best property at matches regardless of price. Let the client self-select the best properties on that list by hearting them. I call in advance, hey, Mr. and Mrs. listing agent, hey, I have a client that's willing to look at your house. However, this is the numbers they're working with. Is this something your client would even entertain if we were to like the house?
Absolutely.
And right now, agents are like, yeah, show it. Show it, we'll send the offer and we'll figure out the rest. Right. There's some hardcore ones where like, yeah, no way, that's not gonna work at all. Save yourself time, don't go and do it. All right. Develop your 36 touch plan. We're not going to jump into that necessarily. Your 36 plan could be something as simple as 4 touches. I would definitely have the 4 phone calls in there. You could have their birthday, if you know their birthday. You can pull their home anniversary off of Realist, right? Or their home anniversary or their birthday off of Facebook, if your friends on Facebook. So that's 6. So let's say you did 4 calls. 2 of them were like mailed letters of happy birthday and happy anniversary for your home. Maybe you do the 12 emails because you're doing the monthly neighborhood nurture. So now you're at 18. And then the other 36 could be a DM through Facebook, or maybe you do pick one of the campaigns and you do a quarterly, hey, here's the value of your home update. We use HomeBot. You can do the HomeBot Lite, it's a free version. And it sends them a personalized, not a personalized link, but a link, and it gives them access to the value of their home. Right? If you pay the premium version, quote unquote, $36 a month, they can add, edit, do all sorts of things to the program, and you see it. Like that they inquire about refinancing, leasing it out, doing an equity line of credit. But if you do the free version, at least it's an additional 12 touches if you wanted to on top of the monthly neighborhood nurture, but they can interact and interface with that, and now you're just about at 40 touches now, 18 plus a 12. So again, that's my simplistic way of getting to a 36 to convert. And they can play with the numbers and the calculators along the way. Again, that's kind of my thing in the past or most recently. Monica are doing events. So now with events, we kind of leverage that into, I guess, the quarterly education type event. We're doing our first one this Saturday, and then our next one February 25th. And that gives us an excuse to call everyone we know. Hey, market change is changing. We're putting together an event that, we're gonna have an economics update, 2 lenders sharing all the resources and history that they can on making this market work for you. And we're gonna have a home inspector talk about all the things to avoid and what to look out for. And lastly, we're gonna teach whether or not you work with us, we're gonna take what we know on how to get an offer accepted. So you can bring this information to any realtor that you're working with. Well, again, whether it's not us or not, you can take that information and use it to your best advantage. So now we're just calling a bunch of stuff out, and they say, wow, that's awesome, sign me up. Hey, by the way, Monica, who else do you know that would benefit from an event like this, or at least a conversation about this? And now we're progressing towards that, let's see here. Goal setting to the now. So plan your touches. This would be Alexandra made a great point about her when she's doing her reels and her social media output. In my mind, I struggle with doing it every day, right? Like taking an hour to do it. But if I took 2 hours on one day and just did it all, like we do reels on Friday, right? We go and see homes and Monica stitches them together and puts them out. Boom. Or it's gonna be a Saturday.
Every Friday.
Every Friday, yeah. Yeah, so we go tour a multi-million-dollar house here in Calabasas, which is new for us. We're used to seeing $800,000 valley homes, I guess.
Every Friday.
Yeah, every Friday. Yeah, go with us, man. We kind of pop it.
What do you do? I'm sorry.
Yeah, every Friday we have a broker caravan.
Uh-huh.
It's on the calendar, but at 12 o'clock we just take whatever's online that has a caravan active today. And you can find that on MLS, right? Under open house, and just look for broker caravan. And we tour them. Most of them are these multi-million-dollar homes. One of them was an $18 million house, right? Top of Calabasas Estates. Yeah, it was insane. And we still haven't made a video out of that. But we really got to time block for that stuff. And then we saw Al Harrington's house, who's a basketball player.
How many places? Very good.
1 or 2. Yeah, it's 2 or 1 or 2. We toured $1 million condo.
So when you guys do it, I'm sorry. Oh, so when you're doing it, what's the end game of it? It's to meet other brokers,
Yeah, part of it is to meet other brokers, get their share on the market. We ran into a gal now. She's a dominating listing agent, but this is the 4th or 5th time we ran into her, and her answer to us was that listing you saw me at basically 3 months ago, 2 months ago, still active on the market, no attention, only 4 people have seen it. That's at $2.5 million, right? So 2.5 million. Yeah, so it kind of gives you an idea the market has changed, at least for sure here at this market price. And I did look up Al Harrington's house is still there, $5 million, not moving, with a great view, private gated community. All the mega mansions are sitting still and pretty.
I'll tell you more. I was driving around because I was checking what house. So $1.2 million house, completely empty. If you go 800,000, 850,000, traffic.
Yeah. So
because the interest rate went up, purchasing power came down. Probably those people were shopping a few months ago with $1.2 million house that they came back. They need to go with any country.
Think about it, 850, 20% down at let's say 6.5% rate.
More.
Oh, okay, 7. Okay, let's say 7.
Yeah.
At 20% down, you're still pissing away $5,500, right? So if your mortgage, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance is anywhere between $5,200 to $6,500, guess what? You're strapped. You might have the cash to renovate the house now because you're not in a tremendous down payment. But yeah, you're right. We're seeing it happen now. But God bless our clients who can leverage into it. they can get a decent deal. And I would even argue the 1.2s, you may be able to get them down to $1 million or 950.
They want to sell,
Yeah,
they're not find out.
yeah. But Gary Keller said it's a race to the bottom now. Who can get to the bottom of the market low enough that sellers still sell and buyers still buy? Not scary.
You'll see 7% interest rate result right now. Because they just increased, we will see end of November, right?
Yeah, that's right. And at the end of November, I think the rate will be even higher.
Yeah, but we will see what's going on right now, so we'll stand up.
Oh, yeah. And we also have the elections coming up, and the elections are interesting, because when you get the elections, and we've seen a couple of these cycles, policy doesn't take into effect right away. It's like a 4-month lag. You know, they get elected, and they go through, and they have to be celebrated, all that stuff, and they actually get to work in January, and then we see the policies come into effect March, April, May, right? But in that window of time is our opportunity for our clients to get to where they want to be and ultimately get what they want, right? So, and I mean, be aware of the macros that are happening around, well, obviously around the world, but also relatively local to us. But don't get so lost in it that we miss the details. Because the detail that Mike always reminds me where the money's made, that's where we have fewer problems when we pay attention to the details, right? So like when we get deeper into those relationship building things and points, think of, okay, what's relative to them right now? Like if I'm calling a friend who bought a house in Littlewood and we help them, Joe and Monica, buy that house. Okay, what's happening there? That's a win for them. And you and I talked about it, like they're bringing the Major League Soccer cup to Eaglewood.
Yeah, you have to know what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Or they're bringing the Clippers invested $2 billion or $1 billion, some crazy number, into building their stadium in Eaglewood, right? With all the tax benefits. And that's another thing you can highlight. If they're buying in Valencia, well, we know that Valencia is very generous to businesses. Like bring your business to our warehouses, we'll give you a discount. We're not going to pillage you like the city of LA. Yeah, rent might be cheaper in LA, but the taxes are way less up here. You know, you're still going to render up to LA County, that's a different story. But hey, in Valencia, we got you back. Right? Santa Clarita, heavily known for their support of law enforcement. Ditto for Simi Valley, right? Little things like that kind of give you an edge, especially if it resonates with them. Another one, back to LA, you know, empowerla.org, great resources, send even just the website that you can text to them. And hey, and here's a little extra homework. I found out this is your neighborhood council. This is where you can get all your neighborhood information on a timely notice. So you can even divide your database and say, hey, these are all empowerla.org tags. You know, just so that you know when you want to send something, boom, it's already preset, pre-tagged. You know, final thought as we close is putting it all together is don't be afraid to make the call, right? We're new, the market's changed, so even the 20-year veteran down the street at wherever or down the hallway, we're all new. They're new, we're new. They just have more stories to relay the market to the market they experienced in the past. So never feel like, oh, I'm new and the market's changing. Beautiful. We're all learning this at the same time, right? So you can't say the wrong thing to the right person, right? Just be human, like we talked about months back. Be like, we're not necessarily relatable, just be you and listen. And all things will kind of fit in. All right, guys. Excited. Boom. 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 And then triple boom. Charlie, Joseph, Alessandro.
I love this.
Yeah.
Great. How did you do it?
I thought I'd try something different to make you guys excited.
Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm
Thank
trying to
you,
do it here.
Philip.
I know you can do it through choose my background. So good stuff, you guys. Everyone take care and have a good one. See you
Thank
later.
you, Monica. Thank you, Philip. Thank you, Nicholas.
Hey,
Bye.
guys. Bye.